Now, the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has raised concerns about President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima's simultaneous foreign trips, leaving many domestic issues unresolved. Obi criticized the move as lacking fiscal responsibility and common sense, given the widespread hunger and poverty affecting Nigerians. According to Obi, the president had initially stated he would be away for 14 days, but has now exceeded that period. Obi argued that Tinubu should have returned earlier to address the country's urgent problems instead of delegating the vice president to a 2-day working visit to Sweden. Obi noted that this decision wasted both resources and time, as traveling from Paris to Stockholm would have taken only 2 hours. Let's discuss this. We're joined by Global Affairs Analyst Achike Chude. Achike, does the Nigerian Constitution support, thank you for joining us, by the way, does the Nigerian Constitution support or contradict claims there is no vacuum, or maybe provide clear guidance on the transfer of power when we have both the president and the vice president out of the country at the same time?
Well, obviously the Constitution is quiet, about this kind of a scenario. The Constitution obviously is expectant that political leadership in the country would be a responsible, leadership, and that the politicians, especially those who are involved in governance at the very highest level, whether governor or the president, would, more or less, remain in the country or within their domain to face the myriads of socioeconomic crisis that is afflicting the country or their states. And so when you have a situation, but again, this is not the first, this has been happening over the years, really, where this issue of junketing, moving from one part of the world to another, especially in the midst of so much suffocating economic contradictions. I mean, it has become it has become the bane of political leadership, really. Yes, the Constitution does not talk about it in specific terms, but the Constitution is expectant that political leadership will be responsible. And so when you have a political leadership that is responsible, that political leadership will obviously be engaged and will have a hands-on, will be involved in the day-to-day running of the country, and not to have a situation where the president takes off, the vice president takes off. Of course, if the president is leaving the country for a couple of days, it is expected that he would transmit power to the vice president, so that there is no vacuum in governance. And then but a situation where both the president and the vice president leave the country, I think that is really a bridge too far, and that does not speak well of the level of responsibility, of political responsibility of the present political leadership in the country. And I think it is a shame. Again, lastly, for quite some time now, even when people complain about the overdue the absence of political leadership of the president in the country, the statement, not just under this administration, has always been that the president can govern from everywhere, but not in the midst of the kind of suffocating difficulty and insecurity that you have in the country. You want a president that is on ground.
All right, let's pick up something else that Mr. Peter Obi raised. It brings up a query about the itinerary that the president's media team provided. Is there perhaps something amiss, or is being on leave that is supposed to have expired justifiable reason to delegate the president on a trip when the president is in closer proximity and could have saved this country some avoidable spending, like you rightly mentioned, considering the challenges, the economic challenges the country faces?
Yeah, obviously the point Peter Obi made, I think, is a valid one. But again, are they thinking in such terms? Are they thinking about the need to save Nigeria from unnecessary expenses. If you look at the lifestyle of the political class in this country, it is clearly in dissonance with what Nigerians are actually, going through. Why would the president, if the president is out of the country, the vice president is supposed to remain in the country? And for both of them to leave the country at the same time simply tells you that I'm not too sure that they are very much engaged with the needs of Nigerians. And then again, the issue of trying to limit, resources, the use of resources in the country. It is not. This has never been the mainstay of the attitude of the political class in the country. You have a political class that has continued to show frivolity when, in governance. We have seen that, and that's what Nigerians have been complaining about for a very long time. The cost of governance has been astronomical, and then there's nothing on ground to show that the political class has learned a lesson about the need to operate within a budget.
Okay, quickly, in the time that we have left, analysts like yourself have suggested that, there is already shaky confidence on the governance ability of this present administration. What would you say are the potential consequences of the president's continued, should I say, delayed return on the from the people?
Yes, I think one of the news items just now, even as this segment progressed, you were talking about a new study. Statistic that had come out that 129 million Nigerians are living in poverty. And not too long ago, I think about a week ago now, I think the World Bank or the IMF was warning about the potential for social instability and unrest if the present parallel state of the economy continues across the continent in certain countries like Nigeria. And so this is a very combustible situation. The hunger in the land, the frustration in the land, the anger in the land are such that anything can happen at any particular point in time.
So it is experience.
Yes. So we hope that the political actors would actually show some level of responsibility and commitment to the precarious economic situation in the country. Because, like I said, anything is possible at this particular point in time.
Maybe by the time we wake up tomorrow, the president will be back, or who knows what their plans are. Thank you for speaking with us.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.